Today on Larry King Now, I'm Tom Arnold, and I'm taking over for Larry. I'll interview actor and my best buddy, Dax Shepard.
I read it. It is hands down the best thing I've ever read in my life. It's The Judge. It's about a father and son with a very, very, very complicated, strained relationship with a lot of unsolved business. And the dad has cancer, and he has to walk him through that. And that was exactly what I had just gone through in real life 2 months before reading that script. So for me, it like blew a hole in my chest. That was the very, very, very first scene of the movie filmed. And it started on me. And I had a 3-page monologue to Downey and Duvall, first action of the movie. And I didn't die.
You're one of my favorite people in the world. I love you very much. You are also my best man.
Having been so honored, I took a lot of time to write the speech, the best man speech. And then you wrote your vows with me about 7 minutes before curtain call.
Yeah.
That's today on Larry King Now. Hello, I'm Tom Arnold, and I am honored to take over for the great Larry King. Forever. I'm taking over forever. This is my new job now. I've had many jobs, but it's time for me to settle down. And who better to fill the shoes of one of the most iconic broadcasters on the planet than the star of the forthcoming movie, Shelby, the Dog Who Saved Christmas. Yes, I did that movie.
I'm not going to sit here and let you be mean to yourself.
But
I'm just not going to.
Okay, that's my guest today. You hear him, you love him, Dax Shepard. You're here because we want to talk about your fantastic work. I know you're in 10 things. You're in This Is Where I Leave You. That's a movie you're in.
I'm currently out.
Yeah, it's currently out. And that's Jason Bateman is in that?
Tina Fey.
Tina Fey. And you punched Tina Fey in that?
No, she punches me.
She punched me. Did she actually punch you?
No, she did not.
Was it? Okay. Because I punched.
But I like to think I really sold it. I mean, my neck hurt really bad for about 2 weeks afterwards.
Would you rather make out with her or have her punch you in a movie?
I'd love to make out with her and then have her just bookend it with a quick right on the button.
For that, by the way.
There is, yeah.
You can't say it on the air. But
well, let's give it a sweet name. It's like a kissy punch.
Yeah, there you go.
It would be, our lamb punch.
There you go. That's
as
nice.
opposed to the common colloquial.
I punched Hugh Grant in the face. Really, we practiced punching, and he kept saying, "I don't trust you. I don't trust you." I go, "Shut up! I know what I'm doing." And I literally just.
Well, knowing that about you, I purposely staged our fight scenes in Brothers Justice where you just received punches and didn't throw any.
Yeah.
Because I was a little nervous about how wild you get.
Right. Well, Dax directed and wrote 2 movies, 2 fantastic movies, Brothers Justice and Hit and Run, that I was in.
Yes.
Yeah. And
in both. It really bailed me out both times.
No, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was very crabby.
The second time.
Yeah.
The first one, well, actually, you were crabby on both.
Yeah.
Because we almost got into an actual fist fight leaving David Koechner's house because we had stupidly carpooled to the location.
I forgot about that.
And then something went sideways between you and I, as always happens. And then on the ride home, I remember pulling over on the side of the 101 and screaming and punching the steering wheel.
Yep.
And I really thought we might get out and just go at it on the 101. I really wish I could remember the particulars.
But we also did that in Afghanistan when we were there.
But that was for the sake of the troops.
Yes.
And they seemed very entertained by our constant fighting.
Right. And but there was a guy that was our guide, and he hated me. He was not a military
that was
guy.
a very mutual feeling.
Yeah, that's true.
I think actually that it started with you disliking him. Okay. If I were being honest. If we're committed to the truth here, which I hope we are.
He was not in the military, by the way. He's just civilian, so it's okay to hate him.
Yeah. He's not a hero.
Right.
That we know.
No.
I mean, he might have done some heroic things, but certainly he didn't tell us about it.
He was booked Spyro Gyra. That's what he told me.
Well, you just blew kind of the punchline.
Oh, yeah.
Because, Tom, you said to him, who else do you bring over here? And he started listing people, and one of them was Spyro Gyro. In fact, that was the biggest of the long list of weird names we had never heard. Yeah. And then so for the rest of the trip, no matter when we were somewhere where you didn't want to be, which was 60% of the time, you go, "Hey, buddy, you bring Spyro Gyro here? Huh? What do they think of it?" And then the worst thing that could have happened for him was on day 5 of the trip, he took his shirt off in front of us, and lo and behold, he had over 30 tattoos of werewolves howling at the moon, which was spectacular for you because you then called him Wolfman the rest of the trip.
Yeah.
And then the best part was when we got in our very worst fight, 5 minutes before we were to go on stage. It was the loudest screaming match. You were calling me arrogant, a lot of exploits.
You called me selfish.
Lazy, selfish. You were calling me an arrogant know-it-all. We were both right on all counts.
Yes, absolutely.
And when you left the car, Wolfman said, it's about time you put him in his place. And I said, we're not on the same team, Wolfman.
You can't talk
So
like that.
we're like brothers. Like, I can make fun of you, but
And we
no
had
one
the
else
best
is allowed.
show, literally.
We really did have our best show.
It's an honor to go over there and visit the troops and everything, but it's a little stressful, and you can't fight with the military folks.
Well, but you did. If you recall, on that exact show, you wrestled a female.
I wrestled, yes.
Female.
She volunteered. I said, they volunteered. She was very tough, but
your rose-colored version of history is so great.
Yeah.
What happened is they wanted to introduce one of their most popular cadets or soldiers.
Yeah.
They brought up this very proud, very short woman, and they said she is the inter-military wrestling champ.
Yep.
Female. And you said, I can take her.
Yeah.
And then everyone started chanting.
Yeah.
And then she was beating you, if you recall.
Yeah.
And then you grabbed her in a very compromising area.
It's an old move.
And
Yeah.
it's not sanctioned by the NCAA.
No.
It was your own move. And you flipped her on her back, and you did win.
Yeah.
But people weren't as excited about the
No,
victory
they weren't.
as you had probably imagined.
But I'm from Iowa. People wrestle.
Yeah, you had a lot on the line. You had the pride of your home state.
Yeah. Why did I do that?
I think that's why it was excused.
Yeah.
But yes, you're not supposed to traditionally fight any of the folks you're there to entertain.
Right. Well, and know that next time.
Yeah.
If you want to go with me, me and Bear Grylls are going to go, and we're going to land on a aircraft carrier.
Let me tell you what I don't like about Bear Grylls.
Okay.
And let's get provocative.
Yeah.
Let's get something that
I just had to say, I was on the Bear
picked
Grylls
up.
show this summer.
It was phenomenal.
It was phenomenal, but tell me the truth.
Implicit in the premise of that show is that he takes these actors out on a rugged 3-day adventure.
Right.
And the whole premise is they're complete weaklings, and he's Superman.
Right.
Despite the fact that Channing Tatum's doing a backflip out of the helicopter within the first 40 seconds
true.
of them being together.
Yeah.
And he's still like, oh, thank God I guided him through that one. He barely made it, the little wimp.
Yeah.
It's like, hold on, I think Channing would beat the hell out of you in an actual fight.
Right.
So no matter how spectacular everyone's doing, he's got to hold true to that premise that without him, everyone would perish.
Right.
I couldn't handle that for 3 days.
Right.
I think it would have devolved quickly had I been on the show to like a lot of contests.
Right.
He would have beat me. I'm not even here proposing that I'm as fit as him or can survive anywhere outside of a mall.
No, but you'd fight him and you'd win.
But I would have, my ego would have clashed.
He does have a guy with him, though, the Special Forces guy, so I'd help you. We'd
have to go. Then we'd be double beat down.
Listen, man,
We'll have more with Dax Shepard after this.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Tom Arnold, and I'm back. I'm filling in for Larry King forever. I'm with Dax Shepard, one of the stars of the great movie, The Judge. It opens October 10th. I just want to explain, Dax brought food, and I ate 2 giant doubles, animal style.
4 patties.
4 patties, really quick.
I'm 4 patties deep.
And you had 4 patties deep, too?
So if you hear indigestion,
or
it's not our natural state.
Yeah, it's not our natural state.
It's a response to too much food that we just ate.
Too much food, too fast. But
Too
that
fast
happens.
was a big component.
Let me just say, let's talk about this movie real quick.
Yeah.
The producer went to a Q&A last night, and he was trying to get Robert to talk about, Robert Downey Jr., to talk about Dax Shepard, and he was very happy to. He said a couple things. The director said you were the first guy he saw, and he couldn't get you out of his head. He saw a lot of other people.
That's really nice.
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
And then Robert said that you are a method actor who really literally wanted to throw up. There's a throw up scene.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to fake it. You wanted to actually throw up.
Yes.
And that there's a health person on set.
Well, an insurance issue with airborne pathogens, I think, is the main concern.
Yes.
They don't want the crew being exposed to God knows what's in my gullet. So
Yeah.
I was instructed not to. And let's be
You did
clear.
it. It looked real.
I am not a method actor, as you very well know, but I do believe that when you are actually throwing up, your throat produces a sound that is not replicatable, that can't be acted.
Well,
you gotta throw
in
up.
post.
If you want, well, maybe they get some stock guy throwing up from a saloon down the street. I didn't want that. I wanted it to be my real throw up. And so I basically, and he was a producer on the movie, Downey, and he's in the scene with me throwing up.
Yes.
And he said, you can't throw up. And I really, it was that real moment from the Favreau movie where I was like, I won't throw up.
Yeah.
He's like, no, don't throw up. And I was like,
oh, yeah.
I'm like, I'll do 3
Yeah,
fakies,
exactly.
and then once we have it,
Right.
I'll really throw up.
Right.
He's like, you don't need to do that. Needless to say, I did. I put my finger in my throat. And that's what made the movie. So I stand by that.
And I have to just tell us about your character.
Okay. So Downey is this amazing lawyer from Chicago. He's left his small town where he was raised.
And by the way, this is not one of those action hero things. This is like, and everybody complains, oh, Hollywood's all action heroes and Avengers and all these Marvel. And Robert Downey Jr., what he's done, him and his wife, has put together this amazing real movie.
Yeah, he's used his, tremendous influence to get a movie made that otherwise would never be made if he weren't in it. And everyone in the movie is flawed. There's no one, there isn't a superhero in it.
Right.
Everyone's pretty broken. Yeah. And so he comes from this small town, and he's carrying a lot of baggage around. That's kind of fuel for him to be this great lawyer. And he comes home for his mother's funeral, and then his father mysteriously ends up with blood on his car, and then someone that his father had put away as a judge.
His father is the judge.
He's the town judge.
Robert Duvall plays the father.
Yes. Proficiently. And so his father decides to hire me as his defense lawyer, and I am not.
Instead of his son. That's a big moment. He's like, I'm going to get an honest.
Because he values more than he values any kind of savvy in the courtroom. He values integrity. His favorite lawyer was a guy who took an unpopular case and was ostracized by the community because it was the right thing to do.
Right.
So he picks me, and within 5 seconds of meeting me, Downey knows they're all in really, really deep.
You would have beat the crap out of Robert Downey Jr.
Well, I like to think
If he
so.
was condescending. If a guy talks to you like that, after the first or second one, you would have had him by the throat and bam, bam, bam.
And can I just, that was the very, very, very first scene of the movie filmed. Wow. So, and it started on me. And I had a 3-page monologue to Downey and Duvall, first action of the movie. And I didn't die.
Right.
Yeah, it was an incredible moment. It was just, it was almost so much pressure that it became like, well, this is stupid that they've started filming this.
Right.
So let's just go for it.
But that scene is going to make you better for the rest of your career, working with those
I left there. It was really a poignant moment, for real. I left there that day, and I thought, man, I didn't panic. I didn't spiral. I didn't get anxious. I actually just, and I think it's really just a product of having been on Parenthood now for so long, and just saying so many words every day. Right. It's just, you're so used to it.
Were you thicker in that movie? You seemed thicker. Did Downey make you gain weight?
I'm two drastically different sizes in this movie, which is, I had signed on to do this. We were shooting in Boston. We went on a quick vacation before I went away to do that. On that vacation, they said, hey, will you go and do This Is Where I Leave You? You would work the first 2 days and the last 2 days. And I said, when's the naked scene? And they said, the last 2 days. And I said, okay, I can do it. Because at that time, we just had the baby. Right. So I had gained all this weight to make Kristen feel beautiful. I did the same. I mean, out of the goodness of my heart, I threw on 25, 30 pounds.
Of course.
So for the next 6 weeks, I did not eat.
Right.
And I worked out 4 times a day.
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger style.
Right.
And so I made it in time for my nude scene. Right. But I remember Downey going, what is going on with you? You don't even resemble the guy.
That's pretty method, Dax.
No, that's pretty vain.
Yeah, well, it's
I don't want to permanently be on screen.
No.
Looking like I did when I started the movie.
Well, you're great. Listen, we're going to be back, and we got a fun game to play. It's Larry's favorite game. It's called If You Only Knew. And then we'll play that game when we get back. We'll talk more about your movie stuff. And I got some good stuff. You.
Yeah. And you.
Yeah.
A little of you, a little of me.
Okay, back here with Dax Shepard. Not only are you one of my favorite people in the world, I love you very much, you're also my best man to Ashley. Yeah. And what was that like?
It was lovely.
Yeah.
It was so lovely. It was in Hawaii, as you remember.
At Shep Gordon's house, yes.
Do you want the funny version or the sincere version? Because I have both.
Okay.
Okay, well, the sincere one is, it was the most beautiful thing. It was right on the beach, and you guys are very in love, and it was just a really, really wonderful thing to be a part of. And it was crazy flattering that I was your best man, and I took a lot of pride in that.
Thank you.
Which transitions right into the funny part, which is, having been so honored, I took a lot of time to write the speech, the best man speech, which by all accounts was pretty good, right?
It was amazing.
We all liked it.
Yeah.
And then you wrote your vows with me about 7 minutes before curtain call.
Yeah.
And you had written on 5x8 cards a novel's worth of things to say. And you handed them to me in a panic and said, oh, buddy, and I was like, holy smokes, what have you done here? And I, if you recall, was like this. Okay, say that line. That goes into, get rid of this.
Yeah.
We don't need to hear about X's in this speech.
Oh, yeah, that's not.
And I just went through like a New York Times editor and just slashed and burned that thing. And then we got it down to about 40 really great sentences.
And I remember a couple times you say.
But when you came up to me and handed me those cards, and it occurred to me that you had not memorized your thing or edited yet, and I was off book, it just was perfect. It really summed up the difference between you and I, which was just lovely.
It's great, and
then you just spoke from the heart, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
But man, was it funny.
Well, it was wonderful, and you know we both have had children since then.
Yes.
The same trajectory, the same. Your wife is such a beautiful woman, and your daughter Lincoln is so beautiful. And I remember you brought her over to Jax, my son, and
You had a.
we had a.
Are you talking about the time that you had a nervous breakdown?
Well, I had a nervous. I thought there might be something. I thought my son might have some issues because your kid was so.
Boys and girls are so different.
That's a good.
They're
thing,
so different. They
so.
they pick up things. Now he can probably lift a car over his head, and she can't. So now he's taking out physically, whatever. Yeah, there's a big difference between boys and girls. And you came over and she was doing more things.
She was doing a lot of things.
She's also half the size of Jax.
Right.
Yeah, and then you left pretty concerned.
Yeah. Well, I was very concerned, and then you start really looking at your kid like, oh boy. But I have to say, your wife, your beautiful wife, she was over and she breastfed because that's what they, I'm a man, I'm an adult. I people breastfeed. It's not weird.
Yeah.
But I did go up to Ashley and say, I feel like you should breastfeed in front of Dax stuff.
You did.
Because I feel like I owed you.
Sure.
Because she
That
was
makes
so
sense.
cool about that,
I think if you had asked me prior to having the baby what my feelings would be about every person I know seeing my wife's breasts,
Right.
I would have not been excited.
I would have been crazy.
But it is crazy how your brain just shifts immediately. This little baby comes out and you're like, oh, well, whatever it takes to keep this thing healthy and happy. Like if she's got to feed her bare naked at the Americana next door.
Right.
So be it.
Well,
We just got to keep this thing healthy.
Yeah.
Like you really stop caring immediately. Your friends are more uncomfortable than you are.
Right.
Yeah.
But there is a super. What word did you put? Now you loved Kristen. I loved Ashley, but then the baby comes, and it's this super kind of love. Do you have a word for the extra love you feel for your wife? Like oh my God.
I kept hearing that. I've heard. I think that's one of the most common thoughts people have. But I couldn't love the baby more. It would be impossible.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I love the baby drastically more than Kristen. I feel like
No, but I mean, do you love Kristen more than you did before you had the baby?
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying
then you're like,
you had to pick one to,
No.
Oh my God, you fall so in love with them because they're keeping this thing that you love alive.
Right.
We can't do anything. What would we do?
It'd be terrible.
Wrap them in our briefcase and give them some hamburgers? We would be, they wouldn't make it.
They'd make it a little bit.
For a while.
A few days.
For a while, yeah. Well, as is proof when we go out to eat without mom, the things we end up trying.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, to see someone take care of the thing that's most precious to you, God, it just.
And they are literally chained. I like to say I participate, but the mothers are chained to this kid somehow.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Now this is one of Larry King's favorite games.
I bet it can make you hate your wife too.
Yeah.
If you have a kid and she's not a good mom.
Oh, that'd be worse.
I bet you would be like, well, I'm over this.
Right. I got. This is Larry King's favorite game. Okay, we're gonna fire these off. One car you wish you owned.
67 Corvette with the 427. Yeah.
What color?
Probably that red and black combo. That's a good one.
Coolest car you've ever driven?
Bugatti Veyron.
Now Detroit. You're from Detroit.
I sure am.
Is it coming back?
It seems to be, yeah. I meet now a lot of people that were not born there and have moved there willingly, and they're in these artist communities, and there's big sections of the town now that are very, very cool. They're like West Village-y in New York. So, maybe, I hope so.
I think it will.
Yeah.
I think it will. It's a great. Okay, guilty pleasure. Name what is a what?
We have a few reality shows that are just. I can't believe we watch them. The number one, there's no question, is God, is it called Perfect Match? It's on MTV. Mm-hmm. 10 smoking hot girls, 10 smoking hot guys. They have a perfect match, but they don't know who their perfect match is. But if all 10 can find their perfect match, they win $1 million. And if you do the math, that's virtually no money when you split it 20 ways and pay taxes. No. But it sounds exciting.
What's your favorite movie ever?
That's a really, really. Can I do a comedy and a?
Absolutely.
Okay, so for my drama, I will say Thief, Michael Mann Thief.
Wow, interesting.
Weird, right?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, God, I love that movie. Probably not, I've seen that movie more than any other one. And it was banned in my house when I still drank, because I would watch it and I'd get very excited and I would go.
Why
go
didn't
try
we
to
never
get
drink
into,
together?
Oh, I know. Well, we would have been in jail. We'd be doing this interview in a cell
for
right
sure,
now.
but I would. I'll tell you, it's been many, many years. I would have.
Yeah, I would watch this movie and I go, yes, yes. If I can't earn what I want, it's time to take it. That would be my rationale in a blackout.
Yeah, of course.
I stole parking meters. I stole Christmas trees from the grocery store. I mean,
Me too.
The world was mine.
Right.
After I would watch that movie.
Right.
And it never was.
Right.
No.
Well, your favorite comedy, real quick?
Oh, probably Raising Arizona.
Oh yeah, that's good. I was in that.
That or
John
Bottle
Goodman
Rocket.
was. Wait a minute. It was John Goodman.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Listen, Dax. Next, we're going to talk about the final season of my favorite show, Parenthood, and we're also going to hear about this movie that you are writing and directing, a big screen version of Chips, and whether or not there's a part for me in it. Okay. Stick around. Hey, everybody, it's me, Tom Arnold, sitting in for Larry King. I'm with Dax Shepard here, who has a great movie called The Judge, coming out October 10th. He's also the star of Parenthood and several other, Wish You Were Here. Is that the other one?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. You play with the cool kids, is what I'm saying.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gotten very, 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 very lucky in the last couple of years.
Parenthood, what's going to happen?
No, you want to talk about Parenthood?
What's the ending of Parenthood? Tell me what's going to happen.
You want me to tell you the ending of Parenthood?
Yes. Somebody dies, I'm sure.
Maybe off screen I will tell you everything I know about Parenthood. Okay. But you know, two things about that. So we had a guest star on, Minka Kelly, who was also on Friday Night Lights.
Yes.
Friday Night Lights is one of my favorite shows of all time. So she starts telling me, Parenthood is so good. I said, you're so lucky you're on Friday Night Lights, man. That's my favorite show. And she goes, are you kidding? You're on Parenthood. Parenthood's my favorite show. And I go, oh, Friday Night Lights is a much better show than Parenthood. She goes, no way. Parenthood's way better.
It is way better.
And then I started thinking, because I didn't enjoy the show like that. And I thought, oh, it's because I know everything that's about to happen when I watch it. So I stopped reading the script. I only read my part, right? So I don't know what's going on with Joel and Julia or Adam and Christina. I have no idea. I'm just like a viewer now. And now I really love the show. Yeah. It was like this great, consequence of not knowing. Now I watch the show and now I can understand, like, the people that say they like it, I can really relate to them.
Let me ask you about...
So, because of that, I don't know what's happening to anyone. I don't even ask what's happening to my character. Yes. Because I don't know what's going to happen to me in 6 months. I have all these ideas what I hope happens, but Crosby doesn't know what's going to happen to him. So it's not useful for me to know, oh, you're going to fall off a cliff.
Yeah, who wants to know that?
Yeah, well, people, curiosity gets them.
The Judge, I just want to say one thing. I watched it last night. I know when you actually watched it, it was very touching for you.
Yes.
You got
super
emotional.
Personal. Yeah. So the whole reason I ended up in that movie is I was on a flight and I read 3 scripts, and it's very painful to read scripts. We both know the majority of them are not great. Right. And then I said, I have to read this 4th one. I don't want to read a 4th script. And I said, I'm going to get through this. I read it. It is hands down the best thing I've ever read in my life. It's The Judge. It's about a father and son with a very, very, very complicated, strained relationship with a lot of unsolved business. And the dad has cancer, and he has to walk him through that. And that was exactly what I had just gone through in real life 2 months before reading that script. So for me, it like blew a hole in my chest. And I got off the plane, and I emailed Susan Downey, who's a producer, and I said, I'll be a waiter in the background. Let me cross. I would love to be. I would like to touch this project in some way. I just want to be associated and be a part of it. And then I got to audition for this role, C.P. Kennedy, which was way more than I was hoping for. And then I saw it for the first time 3 weeks ago at the Toronto Film Festival. It opened, and I've cried 2 times in movies.
What scene did you cry first?
I can't say it. It really gives away the entire
I knew you'd cried, so I held out last night when I was watching it. There's a scene with a chair and Robert Downey.
No, it's the boat. It's like what you want.
I made it past there intentionally.
Yeah. I was ruined at that point. Yeah. Because in real life, right before my father died, as you remember, we were promoting.
Your father was a great guy. He was a buddy
the greatest, yeah. And he was a real, beacon for getting sober, and he was great in a lot of ways. And he got diagnosed with cancer 2 weeks before our movie Hit and Run came out. Right. And during that period, he would go to chemo, and then he would take a different girl to go see Hit and Run. Yeah. and say, this is my son. And he did that. He saw that movie more than any human being. I edited it, and I didn't see it as many times as he did. And he was so proud.
And he would call me after he saw it with whoever again and say, it's getting better, it's getting better.
Yeah, he would call me and say, oh, I've just picked up on something that I didn't realize. He really deconstructed that movie. But knowing that he saw that movie, 14 times in the last 3 months of his life, was that moment in the boat. And I was just like, I wasn't crying because I was sad. I was crying because I was so grateful that I got that, because so few people get that. You usually get a call, oh, guess what, your father's heart blew up, or whatever happens. So to have had that
but you got that because you are a good man, and you made it. You reached out, and a lot of us, our parents died, were mad at them, whatever. But you reached out, and you really are. You're good to your family.
We did this thing that was totally unplanned. It was a weird coincidence. I got I'm like middle-aged, and I was getting nostalgic for where I grew up and all the places. We had lived in like 30 places by the time I moved to California. So I had it in my head like, oh, I want to go to every single house I lived in and take a picture, and then I can maybe show Lincoln, oh, Daddy lived here at this age, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm with him because I'm taking him to doctor appointments and spending time with him. And I said, well, I want to do this thing. And he said, oh, okay, great. Again, I had no cathartic intentions in mind. As we go through these houses, he says, we get to the place that we moved into when we left, when they got divorced, and we moved in this little apartment. And I take a picture, and we're driving away, and he said, I dropped the couch off to you guys, and when I got around the corner, I pulled over and cried in my car for 4 hours. I was unable to drive the car because I knew I was changing my life for the worse permanently. And I never knew that. I didn't know he had that. I thought he was like, party time. I got rid of them. But and then we would go to the next house, and it was like, I remember coming to Christmas, and I should have done this and that. And we went on this, and it was an Alexander Payne movie. I mean, it finished at my grandparents' house, and we were on a picnic table, like having moments and getting closure that I could have never dreamt of. But it was just some weird gift that fell into our lap.
That's beautiful. Is there a part for me and Chips?
Are you willing to crash a motorcycle?
Part? For free. No. I thank you very much, Dax. I love you. You're so good. I'm so proud of you. This movie, because it's so you're the guy with the heart, and they keep you on, and you're with these magnificent people.
Oh my God, yeah.
And it's very natural. It seems like you should all be together all the time, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. I love you.
And I love you too. Larry King, we love you too, and thank you very much for having me sit here, my friend Dax. Hey, October 10th, check out The Judge. You can find me on Twitter at Tom Arnold. Thank you, buddy. I love you. Are you on Twitter?
Oh yeah.
Dax
Shepard 1.
Dax Shepard 1. Of course. Is there a Dax Shepard?